Okay guys, welcome back to Hobson's Choice Harleys. We're back out in the garage. I don't know since the last video where we're at. We were working on this bike, still are. So there's a shovel motor right there. Came out of the Red FLT. It's a running motor. It's for sale. Just wanted to do a recap of some of the stuff. If you look up here, we've really loaded the walls with parts. So there's a, right there's a nice Knucklehead primary, a generator shovel primary or first year panhead. Lots of primaries, lots of foot pegs, really badass sissy bar that was on the knuckle that no longer is being used, as well as that very cool chopper seat that was on it. And then finally going through some of the parts I knew that I had. We did go through all this stuff here. This is all new old stock. All different types of hardware for all different types of application. It's the old Gardner Westcott, which I hadn't even heard of. A lot of colony stuff. If you look over here, I've got several different sets of carburetor rebuild kits for Linkerts and S&S. In fact, I was kind of happy to find, check this out. You know the S&S guys, you know those blue little O-rings that you lose? I got a whole package of those. Gaskets, head gaskets for just about everything. Flathead, Shovelhead, Panhead, some Sportster, just all kinds of stuff. Just new old stock. All this stuff came in boxes of stuff I got. A lot of newer style 5-speed transmission gaskets. A whole boatload of different fork seals, as well as the clips, the retaining clips, and a bunch of the bushings for rebuilding front ends. A lot of these little guys are from Harley. I don't even know what they're for. These right here are the buttons for your controls, for your blinker controls on the older style, the little round buttons that get lost. So I got a dozen of those. Also got a nice 5-speed transmission there. That's up for sale. Got the bottom end for a shovel head that actually moves freely. Don't know what condition it's in, but it's all there. And there's the top end for it. So basically, you want to build a shovel motor and don't want to spend the money, there's a lot cheaper way to get started. So I would sell that bottom end and top end together. I did take some steel pictures. I've got a nice Fairbanks Morris short shaft magneto, a couple of Super E's, a Super B, some Keyens. I've got an SU back there. I do have Electron somewhere and an Edelbrock carburetor if you guys are looking for some different carburetors. A couple of the old guide lights. These are repops, but they're runnable. Rocker boxes for Ironhead. Down here I got starters for Ironhead, Shovelhead, Evo. Got a generator that's been rebuilt, and that's for Sportster, but I think you can run that on pan or knuckle either way. It's a 12 volt. Over on the wall, we're filling up the wall. I've got a set of these JMI adjustable footboards, kind of a cool set. Universal, you can put them on just about anything. Got bunches of these saddle bag rails to keep your leather bags from going into your rear swing arm for all different style bikes. We got Shovelhead pipes. Most of these are brand new heat shields for different applications. There was no numbers on them, so I don't know what they fit, but probably a lot of them are a universal fit. Got a whole stack of Evo pipes. So these are Evo or chain cam. I got some shotguns and stuff. And then most of the stuff on the wall is Shovelhead pipes in different conditions, we'll say. Down here I got 2 round swing arms. I got a black factory one. I've got a chrome one with the chain guard. I've got another one out on a couple of rolling chassis I picked up. We got an 1.5 inch and a 3-inch belt. I'd have to count the teeth on them. I'm not sure what they fit, but they're in good shape. They're just dusty. FLT oil bag if you need it. Got a factory Harley-Davidson oil cooler with the thermostat. More of the same, more of the same. We got gas tanks. We got dashes for Evo or shovel or pan. Gas tanks. Really nice Shovelhead seat. A couple of the old stock 80 cubic inch ham cans. Knuckle and pan primaries. Shovel primaries. Knuckle primaries. I think that's 5-speed outer primary, and the inside is like a 98 or 99 Evo inner primary. So a lot of this stuff you guys have seen, but we're just going to go on and on and on. So as you're seeing this, any of this stuff that tricks your trigger, there's one of those velocity, whatever you call it, the Kiriakin thing, it is complete. And stuff for sale, more shovel pipes, more handlebars all over the floor down here, as well as an oil bag for a panhead. I got a few of those. Got several of these Sportster oil bags. Got one ratchet top. Over here I did end up with, I've got a set of these mags. I've got 2 or 3 old school OEM star wheels for panhead or older. Got a set of twisted spoke wheels. This is a 21, and I think I've got a 16 for the back. And the wheels off of this bike are coming off too if you need the wheels or the brakes. The brakes are really hard to find on these FLTs, so I've got the rear brake, and I also have both the front calipers, the big front calipers for the FLT. So, appreciate you watching. If you need any of the parts, let me know. And our next step is going to be to jump back into the knuckle. So on the knuckle, since we've seen you last time, went ahead and got a new wheel with the brake assembly. Everything's true and tight. Got the new Parkerized Colony brake system for it, for the mechanical brake. Also, to stand back a little here, we put the black luggage rack on there. I put the black license plate bracket. I am going to pull the reflector off. It was just one I had. And I know it's not perfectly knuckle related, but it's what I got. And it looks good, you know, and it's going to work. I did find this beehive tail light, which is what this bike would have had. And I got the kickstand and the mount underneath it. So it actually does, I can do the back stand on that if I want, or I can just snap it up into place where it belongs. We've also got the new front fender over there, which we're going to try and fit today into that Springer front end and see what all modifications we got to do for that. We also got our Corbin Gentry seat. And I got to tell you guys, man, I bought the Harley-Davidson seat with the skirt on it for my generator shovel from Harley. They still make them. Beautiful seat. This one, I actually got this through V-Twin, and it is a Corbin Gentry. As you can see right there, came in at half the price of the Harley one. And this seat is so soft and so supple, it's just beautiful. I mean, Corbin's been known for making beautiful seats forever, but just amazing that I could get that seat for half the price. And they also had the skirted ones. This being a 41, don't think it had the skirt, and even if it did, I don't want to run the skirt. I like that look. So we're gonna take a pause. I'm gonna set up the tripod, try and get this thing working for you guys. And we're gonna start playing with gas tanks and fenders. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so we're continuing on. We're gonna go ahead and get these tanks up on there. I got another set of tanks. Actually, the 3.5s I had, I sold to a guy. So I got a new set of tanks. We got the seat in. As you can see, the rear end is all together for the most part. I gotta figure out the toolbox. So I'm gonna run a rectangular toolbox, which in 1940, they went with the teardrop. So that's a little off year-wise, but I'm okay with it. So we're gonna go ahead and get this tank on, and then we're gonna pull this front wheel off, and I'll readjust the camera. We'll pull the front wheel off, and we're gonna start playing with that front fender and see how it goes, adapting it to that swing arm or that Springer. So as you can see here, where the back bolt is where the fender struts would bolt. They bolt here and up here. I'm gonna have to drill, tap, and thread that for a bolt to hold it, because this Springer wasn't set up to run that style fender. So we'll see how much fun we're gonna have with that. But let's stick this tank on first, and we'll go from there. So we're pretty close to ready. Okay, so she's just in there, dry fit, just making sure all the parts work. We've already fit this for engine clearance. I know we've got plenty of motor clearance. We've got plenty of stud clearance there. So those look good. These tanks, they're good for pressure test. A lot of guys put the liners in there, the 4.5s and whatever style liners. I'm not a fan of the liners. They end up just corroding and going all the pot, and then you got all that stuff floating around inside your fuel lines, your fuel filter. You got to rebuild your carburetor 10 times. So personally, not a fan of that stuff. The way I was told by my mentor Larry, he's like, keep the tanks full. If the tanks are full, they can't rust. Especially in the winter, if they're in dry storage, I'll run the bike with the fuel petcock off until the bike dies, which basically bleeds out the carburetor, so you don't have to worry about the carburetor getting nasty. And then I fill the tanks all the way up to the top. Sometimes I'll put some of that, not seafoam, I use the other one that's around here, the fuel stabilizer. Basically I'll put about a shot glass in each tank just to keep the fuel from breaking down. And I've never had issues. I've had bikes I've had for decades with no inner tank issues, and the couple of bikes I had that had that liner in them, I was rebuilding carbs and the stuff flakes off, and you're pouring vinegar and crap in the tanks and you're trying to shake them full of nuts and bolts to get that stuff out. And I don't know, to each their own. Personally, I'm not a fan of that stuff. So we're gonna go up here, we're gonna make sure that our Speedo fits, which it does. Even that front bolt hole is gonna line up. And our cat's eye is going to fit like so. So yeah, we're sitting pretty on this machine right here. That's the one right there. Okay, so we got that, and boy, that looks good. We got plenty of room to make this work here. And the other thing before we get on the front end is I do have, let's see if I can see those cool risers I got? I'm gonna pull those apart off camera, do a little research on them, see how they're gonna fit, and then we'll show you the bars I'm gonna run on this. The bars are actually a takeoff on a buckhorn. Well, in fact, they're right here. So they're a buckhorn style bar, but they're in black. So I'm hoping that those are gonna fit those risers the way I want them to. So we're gonna play with the risers. I'm gonna take a break so the camera doesn't glitch out on me. Play with the risers a little, we'll get back, play with those handlebars, and then off to the front end. Okay guys, so we're back playing. I got the camera hopefully tall enough you can see the bars. And we got these risers torn apart. These risers are basically, any of you guys that watched the series, very similar to Softail Sally when I did hers. Those had those Paul Jaffe, I forget how you, whatever. Had those risers on here with they looked like a Dairy Queen ice cream cone. They were kind of bubbled and then had the point. So they look more like a Hershey Kiss than a spike. These ones are more spiked. Cool set. So we're going to, actually when I get to paint, I'm going to paint these risers, the 10 colors with the black bars. And I'll just let you guys know, I'm going bright yellow, kind of Corvette yellow on this bike on the 10s. And then I'm doing as much black trim as I can and as little chrome as I can, because I like the, basically it's going to be a bumblebee, it's going to be the look. So we're going to, again, like we've said a million times before, dry fit everything, make sure everything fits. Okay, so we got that in there. I'm going to try and stay over here so I'm not in the view of everybody. And we're going to see what those buckhorns look like. I do have a brand new old stock, never mounted. So this is a Paco top to a Springer front end, and it's got the edges so you can run the dog bones, which is really old school 40s and 50s chopper look. But I don't know, I'm going to try and just, I like these risers, I like the way this is going to look, and I'm trying to stick with the buckhorn style bars. I don't want any big apes or anything funky like that. You know, it just depends on how you build the bike. The solo seat, me putting the pogo seat on it with the tractor seat, pretty much changed everything. because without running that chopper seat and sissy bar, you pretty much need to stick with what's a stock-ish look anyway. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be close. So let's see if we're getting the look we need here. Oh, would you looky there. All right, go around to the other side. So it looks like my bolts are just a wee bit short. Let's see if we can just get one to hold for a second. And watch. I'm gonna get up here on top of the lift, which is always a no-no, but this lift is a Black Widow lift. She's really solid, so I ain't too worried about it. Okay, let's see if we can get one of these started. Anywhere close. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can tell. So the bars are perfect. That's what I want. In fact, they'd run about right there. They start to bend here. So these bars are designed for a 3.5-inch spacing on your top tree, which most all your bikes post Springer front end are. The Springer is wider, which makes these risers wider, which means I'm hitting the curvature of the bar here. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to have to play some games with it, and it might just be a different style riser because these ones are just kind of fighting me a little bit. So I might have to find a narrower width riser, or I might have to do some machine work on these to make them work, because while that's even just on there a little bit. So I don't know, I kind of like them, but you can tell right here, I don't know if you can see the light in there, the curvature of the bar, these are just too big a diameter. So I'm gonna see if I can't get a pair off the wall that works a little better and not beat up these bars, because the bars are perfect for the machine. So let me shut you down again, guys. Let me regroup, find some different risers, and we'll take another stab at it. Okay, guys. So there's the other set of risers, and I don't know, I've done 6 different configurations, and every time I turn around, I end up coming back to these 2-inch risers, where they're 2 inches up and 2 inches. They're actually pulled back risers. They're to get you back further. I don't know. I like running them backwards. And I've had a couple people that are like, run it that way. It looks so cool. I don't know. Let's put these bars on there and see what it looks like. Looks like, and then functions. I'm going to have to get up there and sit on it and see how they feel. It definitely is a different look, one you don't see very often. I can get this one to start. Yep, let me get around on the side over here. Be blocking the camera, you watch. Alright, so now we're going to pull this out and see what the bars look like on there. That's so wonky weird that I think it's going to work. Let's see if these are shallow enough that the bars will go on there. Let's see. If not, it'll be just like everything else, back to the drawing board. Let me go around this side. Last week I spent 3 days doing nothing but hanging parts on the wall, cleaning, sweeping. Actually, it's almost workable out here. It's been such a disaster zone out here for the last few months that it's actually kind of a pleasure to come out here and play nowadays, because I can get around and find stuff and know where my tools are. And so we're gaining on it. Okay, so I'm going to just crawl on up here and we're going to see what that does for everything. So let me get that a little closer to the middle, like that. Trying to do this without scratching up the bars. Oh, you know what? I think I got one of these that's a little stripped. Getting old ain't for wimps, guys. Alright. So the cool thing about these risers, if I can make them work, is they're a lot narrower. I can cock them a little bit and get them to fit a little better. And hopefully they'll fit these bars the way I want them to fit. Alright. Okay, so just snugging stuff. And it looks like to me they're going to fit just fine. I do have one strip hole here. I'm going to have to drill that out, put a heating coil in it. Off center a little bit. If I'm not grabbing it all, it's grabbing so tight I can't even adjust it. Right there. Nobody move. Alright, so I know the camera angle ain't the best, but this is the first time ever to sit on this machine. I'm going to be out here. And yeah, that's pretty close to pretty, man. Okay. So I dig it. I did ding up things a little bit. And then, like I said, these risers are going to go out a little to both sides, which will follow the curvature of the bar. And I put a heated coil in this one, and we're good to go. So I think we've got our bar riser combination finally figured out. 10 tries later. So let me step back here and take a look at the profile. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all.